Hey Fingagolf fans, we are looking at a 6-hole setup for beginners here, and I'm going to talk through all the different holes. There's a few random bits out on the table. These are Fradin slopes. You don't need much of a slope on a green to make it have the similar or the equivalent elevation change that you'd have in real life. Spoons, forks, tea coasters. Tea coasters? Coasters. All of these little simple bits you can use, but we're going to ignore all the slopes and we're going to ignore all the scenery. There's the scenery pack there. We're not going to have any trees in this. We're going to keep it real simple, show you how you can have 6 totally different holes just by changing the angles and the distances of the playmats. Let's get into it. All right, hole 1 is fairly simple par 4. It's not just straight up. You could just have it like this. For first time players, nothing wrong with that. Give them a straight place to start hitting those first few shots. I think probably the smart players to hit about 150 centimeters with a pitch and wedge, and then try and pitch and putt in. That would be a fairly solid way to play the hole. Given that it's the first time player, I don't mind that it's very reachable in one. It's probably a little bit too straightforward. That's right, wasn't it? So probably a bit too straightforward for a par 4 once you start playing with players who've played a few times. So what I would probably do, even for first time players, I would give it a little bit more interest just by changing it up a little bit. That makes the straight shot still playable, but I think just those angle changes mean that you're getting less people trying to go straight for it. They're going to get in trouble. That little gap means that the real smart play for a beginner golfer is hit your pitch and wedge, and then wedge and a putt. So, hole 1, par 4, fairly simple, little bit of a dog leg left, nothing more than that. All right, hole 2 here, we've got, again, a straight par 3. We've got the green going vertically there because the beginner golfer tends to hit a lower runny one. So if I take a 7-iron just to sort of demonstrate what might be happening, you're still going to get rewarded with the green there. If you have it horizontally, it becomes a harder shot. And we want to sort of make sure that as many players are enjoying the first few holes as possible. We're going to beat them up in a minute. The ideal play is with a wedge, but again, beginner golfers tend to have a bit of a slice. Can they get away with it? Maybe a little bit because we've added that fairway. I might even be inclined to move the fairway even more to the right because the common miss for the first time players is going to be to the right. So yeah, you can kind of get away with a little baby fade. It's not too long. This is about 150 centimeters for your first par 3. Straightforward, get people playing those first couple of holes. All right, hole number 3. Now we're starting to play with some of the angles and make people think about exactly where they want to end up with their tee shot. So here, because of the angle of the way the green is placed, the ideal approach position is over here. So you want to get as close to the edge here as you can for the better approach in. However, you go too far, there's a little slope off the edge. You've got to be careful. So the safe play to the middle, but you get rewarded for just taking a little bit more. So again, we're looking at, I work off 150 for a sensible tee shot with the pitch and wedge, about 180 with a 7-iron. At the moment, we're not going to play too much with distance because, again, we want the beginner to be rewarded. Play it there, not too bad. Got a good angle in. And I should be able to make a birdie there. There we go. So yeah, again, all of these, once you get a bit more advanced, probably a little bit shorter than you would want it. But the simple thing to do, just take that tee box back. You could even play with 2 tee boxes if you've got a mixture of beginners and intermediates. Get the guys playing off the back tees to play first. Move it back 30 centimeters is all you need. And you've suddenly got a hard to reach green. People are taking 7-irons instead of pitch and wedges. So yeah, there's hole 3. All right, hole 4, our second par 3, and this one a little bit longer here. I think it's about 180 centimeters. Have a look. Yeah, a little bit longer even, 190 from the middle of the tee box. So it is reachable with a 7-iron for players. they're going to start running them up. You could have one that goes in low, that's okay. But you've also got the option, because we put these two, the green and the fairway, right next to each other, you can just play it safe and then you can putt across the bump. Gives a little bump, but it's possible, it's doable. So you've got a couple of options. Aggressive players can go for it with their 7-iron. There's a nasty slope here, so you don't want to be hitting a fade. It's just going to drop off. I've left a couple of inches over the edge of the table. Tiny subtle slopes like that can make what would otherwise be your straightforward shot into a little bit more risky. Next par 4, we're going to have what we call a switchback. One where the fairway is going to go in one direction, the green's going to go in the other direction. This encourages, for sort of more advanced players, it encourages them to play a fade, a sort of a curly one, with the first shot from left to right, and then the second one will favour a right to left shot, although I've got a pretty straightforward pitch here, so we'll just bump that on. But for players who aren't looking to shape it, you've still got the same dilemma. How far right can I get away with? Do I want to go to the middle of the fairway and give myself a harder approach? The further you go up here, the better your approach is going to be. So just that subtle difference, by changing the angles, you've now got a little bit more to play with. Aiming for the middle of the fairway, no problem. You get down here, you've got a real tough second shot in. So the switchback, that's an option. You can have a switchback the other way, of course. Exactly the same concept round there. Up to you which way you think is needed for what's going on with your group. Play one of each if you're playing 9 holes. Love a switchback. All right then. Okay, hole 6, it's another par 3. Little bit longer, maybe 170, 160. And this one, we've got a little slope. It's our first slope, just going down the back there because we put the fairway there. So anything too aggressive that goes long is in trouble off the back there. However, it does open up that opportunity to be aggressive if you're a couple of shots behind. Maybe you can go for that elusive hole-in-one. The smart play, aim for the front middle of the green and see if you can one putt. But yeah, how aggressive do you want to be? Would you take the 7 and go for it? See if it's worth it. Not when you hit it like that. Boop. All right, hole 6, we've got another par 3, a little bit longer here. This is about 160, 170. 170 now. And so you might want to go for it with the 7-iron, but there's a little slope off the back there. So if you get too aggressive with too much roll, bye-bye ball. The smart play is to play to the front middle of the green and then see if you can one putt. But it gives people that opportunity to just push a little bit, try and go for the hole-in-one. Ah. All right, hole 6, another par 3. This one's a little bit longer, about 170, but with plenty of forgiveness at the front. So if you don't hit it too far, you're still going to be in the hole. However, if somebody is just a couple of shots behind, they can get aggressive and go for it. Because we've put the green on top of the fairway, there is a slope down the back here. So anything long is going to accelerate and have more chance to go off the back. So being aggressive comes with a bit of risk in it. So the smart play is to aim front middle of the green and hope that you're one putt. Let's just see if we can get one somewhere in there, not too bad, and then pop him in for a birdie. So yeah, there you go, there's a few options there. Obviously the more you get into it, the more you're going to start bringing up obstacles, trees, plants, and adding loads of slopes and stuff. But the angles and the distances can give you infinite possibilities just as is. So yeah, get playing finger golf, see if you can hit those high spinning shots, get some friendly competition with the family, and enjoy.